What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Babbles Nonsense podcast. We have Meenu back today from Transcend into Wellness podcast. And before we talk about goals, routines, or resolutions for 2026, we want to reframe something. Because the years that actually change your life don't start with doing more, they start with shifting how you make decisions. We are not interested in surface level resolutions that look good in January and disappear by February. We are interested in the internal shifts that quietly change how you move, how you choose, and what you tolerate. So in this episode, we are sharing the 5 shifts that changed everything for us. Not trends, not hype, not hustle culture advice, but the foundations that create consistency, clarity, and peace. If you get these 5 things right, 2026 doesn't just feel better, it functions better. So let's get started. All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Babbles Nonsense podcast and Transcend into Wellness with Meenu. She came up with a topic this week that I thought was amazing, and that's how to make your 2026 your best year ever, but not the typical, resolution type podcast that you might think. We obviously are going to talk about resolutions, but we're going to talk about them in a slightly different way.
Yes, we are, because guess what? Without wasting too much time, I can just go into statistics. The resolutions fail by the mid of February, according to statistics. 80% of people that set resolutions stop doing whatever they set resolutions for in the new year by the mid of February. So the dopamine falls off, the excitement goes away, and then you're back to square one and you're doing it all over again. And obviously, the collective benefits from it, the government benefits from it by saying New Year, join the gym, discount. All these things, again, I'm not yucking on anybody's yum if that's your vibe, but I'm just pulling you some statistics to say that you don't really have to do all that. You don't have to wait for New Year. And also, making a resolution, deciding on a goal, forcing a goal just because it's New Year doesn't mean you're actually going to stick to it, doesn't mean it's actually sustainable. So we are going to talk about the top 5 shifts that's going to make your 2026 your best year yet. And the first thing I wanted to talk about is how you can set value-based goals over surface level resolutions. So stop focusing on what you have to do and start anchoring goals in who you want to be. For example, instead of setting a resolution, if let's say I wanted a healthy body or I wanted to take care of my body, instead of setting a resolution saying, I'm going to wake up in the morning and go to the gym at 6 a.m. And let's say I've never done that before. And Jonna knows I'm not a morning person, so I'm not going to, wake up and do that. So I'm setting a resolution, which is already such a big jump for my nervous system, such a big jump for my subconscious mind, because I've just never done them. That's not my blueprint. So that's already forcing myself to do something which is very uncomfortable. So instead of setting something like surface level, again, what you can do or I can do is saying, what are the ways that I want to take care of my body?
Right.
See, now that is more value-based rather than surface level resolutions. So now I'm thinking about the overall picture. I'm not thinking about just gym. I'm thinking about, I could stretch. I could actually eat whole foods. I could drink this much water. So I'm thinking about it in a well-rounded way. And I feel like whenever you do that, you start thinking about who do I want to become rather than, I'm going to do this goal and I'm going to check this because it makes my ego feel good.
Right. And I think that also kind of ties into even just since you used health and nutrition as an example, like when I was doing nutrition coaching for a little bit, with my clients, I learned they can't do everything at one time or it becomes too much. And that's what I've noticed, even when talking to friends or doing this podcast, with resolutions, if it's too much at one time, that's kind of why they fail. That's why that falls into that statistics of okay, I've done this for 30 days. I'm just over it. Even though they say it takes 30 days to formulate a habit, it's almost then why do those resolutions kind of fall off mid-February if you're already in that 30-day habit? So something there obviously isn't clicking. And I think that's what you're talking about there is you have to make it more values. Right. It's not aligned with who you are. Like you said, if you're not a morning person, why are you going to sit there and say, I'm going to get up
Yeah.
every morning at 6 and go to the gym. Even though if
Yeah.
the gym is one of your quote unquote resolutions,
Mhm.
start slow. It doesn't have like maybe you build a home gym, maybe you do some home workout videos, maybe you
Mhm.
go for a walk and you do it
Mhm.
at the time that you can do it, whether that's a 5 minute walk in between, customers, patients,
Yeah.
whatever your job may be, or
Mhm.
getting a walking treadmill while you're working. There's different things. And I think that we as Americans have this idea that we have to go big or go home or
Yeah, it's
do it
all or
all.
nothing. It's all or
Yeah.
nothing. I've seen that with so many. It's so interesting you say we Americans because I do notice that a lot more in this culture
Hmm.
that people are either super aggressive or they just give up and they're like, you know what, it's not perfect, so I'm not, I'm not going to do
Right.
anything.
Right. Well, I mean, that's kind of the way it was driven, a long time ago. Like if you look at history and stuff like that, like being the city where it was like it built itself and all this stuff. Like the American mentality is very work all day, work hard 5 days a week, work as many hours, as long hours as you can, drive
Mhm.
yourself into the ground and
Mhm.
leave no time for play, fun, things like that. Like I know this is going to sound really silly, but like when I was watching Emily in Paris,
Oh
like
my God,
how
yes.
just like how like
I
when she
remember that.
yeah, when she first went over there and they were taking like a 3 hour lunch break, she was like, what? And everybody was like, you need to chill out. Like, you need
You
to
need to
calm
chill out.
down.
Exactly. This is how we do it on this side of the world.
Right. Which we could probably take a few steps with that.
Yeah, that's so funny you say that because when I used to live in Mexico, so I lived in Mexico City for 2.5 years. And when I was working in corporate there, people would take an hour and a half lunch breaks and they would chill out. Like they're not
Yeah.
rushing. And I'm like, wait, are you for real though? Like,
Well, I mean, we have a really bad mentality of like rush, 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 rush. And I
yeah.
know that people in the South are like, no, I mean, I know in the North, it's more so like you think like New York, go busy, corporate, everything. And then in the South, we still have that here. Like companies still expect that. So
Mhm.
it's just, I do agree. I think that you should make it more aligned with your values. So that way it sticks a little bit more because if it is aligned with your values, then it's something you could carry out throughout whenever.
Throughout whenever, and also, I hate to say this, but you have less shame.
Hmm.
Because I think you're setting a resolution to somehow fulfill some conditioning that's in your mind.
Right.
Either your friend is going to the gym, so you think that you need to go, or your parents taught you something and you think you need to fulfill that, or society is forcing you to be a certain way and you think you need to check that box. It's not who you are. So I really invite you to check in with yourself when your friends are saying, I'm setting these crazy goals and resolution. Again, you don't have to yuck on their yum, like you can support them, but you don't have to do it just because everyone else is doing it. You have to ask yourself, is this in alignment with who I am becoming? So it's an identity shift rather than just checking a box. If I know
Yeah.
that's deep, but that's very important to like understand.
Well, I also think that, like you said, like making it more of a broader goal than that specific goal. And I know we used weight as an example. And I think that's because that's probably one of the biggest ones that
Yeah.
people, especially after the holidays, people are going to go into January 1st. Like, I want to be this amount of weight this year. I want to lose this amount of pounds. And as a, nutrition coach, what I would tell my clients and what I had to change my mentality around years ago was sometimes you have to take that number out of your head. And also sometimes you have to be like, you know what? It's not always about the gym because I'm going to tell y'all this right now, and no one's going to love me when I say this.
Actually, I think I know what it is, and it's the best thing. Go on.
Weight is only 10%,
Yep.
10% of, or sorry, um, fitness, the gym is only 10% of weight loss. 90% of it is nutrition, health, and hormones. So if your goal is weight, maybe this year when you step into that, maybe it's not the go big or go home. Maybe it's like, how can I set up different things to get that going? Like maybe I hire a nutrition coach. Maybe I try to work on my diet and see what's going on there. Maybe I try to get my health and hormones in check and just try to get my body more so in alignment so that I feel better. Maybe the goal should
Right.
be feel better versus weight loss.
Exactly. Feel better on a mind, body, spirit level. Feel more aligned with yourself. You want to have an identity shift that I am the kind of girl that loves my body. I'm the kind of girl that loves to work on my body. And that doesn't have to look like 5 a.m. gyms. Like that doesn't have to do, you don't have to do that.
And I'll say this, and you can agree with me, I'm sure on this, and something you taught me a lot during our coaching, and something that I have to like drill into one of my really good friends' head. It doesn't matter if you lose 10, 20, 50, 100 pounds. If your mindset is still negative, you will never see what you've lost.
You never see
You
what you lost. Yeah.
in the mirror, you're still going to see that person you dislike because it was never about the weight to begin with.
Yes, and this is sad. A very quick example, kind of sad example, is like I've noticed this with many of my friends and also strangers. They will release 100 pounds, 150 pounds, 80 pounds, and they still feel extremely insecure. They still feel extremely obese and overweight because they have not taken care of their mind.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens when you don't have value-based goals. You hit the number, sure, for again
But it's
validation,
not enough.
but it's not enough because it doesn't align with who you really are and the kind of person that you want to become. So again, highlighting the importance of value-based goals versus surface level resolution. So that was great.
Yeah, so I just real quick, I want to give a couple examples of maybe some value-based goals that I have for myself this year would
Yeah.
be I'm going to do my best to stop over explaining myself, stop waiting on potential instead of evidence.
Mhm.
This year, more so, I want it to be more clarity, discernment, boundaries, obedience over desperation. Those are kind of like value-based goals for me instead of just, you know, like you said, the aesthetics. So, yeah,
I love that. Oh my God. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
you are
Yeah.
welcome.
And then the second one, and of course, I coach so much on this, which is self-regulate before outsourcing every decision or every feeling, right? I've done this. I'm guilty of this. I used to do this maybe 10 years ago. And to be honest, it's because I didn't trust myself. It is because I didn't have tools. I didn't know how to sit with the yuck and sit with the emotion, right? So when there is a discomfort, immediately I'm calling my best friend in Melbourne. And she's like, why the fuck are you calling me at 3:30?
Right. No, right. I
And then I'm
understand.
like, and then I'm like, what do you think I should do? Like, is this okay? Like, is that okay? Like, things like that. And it is coming from the inability to like sit with myself. So this again, I'm not telling you guys not to get help. That is not the point. When you are in indecision, you are at a crossroads. Yes, you have community, you have friends to support you, and you can lean to. I always lean on different people at different times. I'm not. That's not the point. The point is when there is moments of contrast, when there's moments of sadness, when there's moments of feeling stuck or anxious, learn to regulate yourself, whether that is tapping, whether that is running, whether that is journaling, whatever works for you in releasing that energy, try to do that. And the reason you want to do this is because character development and inner strength only develops when you can lean on yourself. If you cannot lean on yourself, you're going to find it very difficult to trust yourself as life goes on because tomorrow the person that you lean on may not be available. And then what
Right.
do you, right? So again, self-regulate before outsourcing every decision because instead of immediately seeking advice, when you learn to sit with the discomfort and regulate your emotion, you finally release also that need for validation,
Right.
which is so important because we all are guilty of wanting and needing external validation.
Yeah.
Maybe this is something that you can incorporate. Like I said, any emotion, right? Whatever comes up, what you can do, maybe you can do, I don't know, 40% on yourself. And then you can take it to your therapist. Maybe you regulate yourself 30% and then you talk to your best friend. I'm not saying it has to be all or nothing. I'm just saying that do your part and then show up and then have other people show up for you.
I agree. And that's something I'm really going to try to work on in 2026 because I'm really bad about like seeking out advice and stuff. And sometimes, like, when you really sit down and think about it, it's like, are we actually seeking out advice or are we doing, like you said, seeking out validation for someone to agree with us so that we
Mhm.
don't feel so bad in the moment of either what just happened or whatever? So it's probably a little bit of both. So I think that, in therapy right now, I'm learning about attachment styles. And I think I would highly recommend maybe learning your attachment style because avoidant and anxious attachment styles, although very opposite ends of the spectrum, are very similar when it comes to their feelings. And I think those two probably have the hardest time self-soothing.
I do, yeah, for sure.
Um,
Because I used to be anxious, and then I also leaned into avoidance. It's so weird. Like it's like a spectrum of like extremes, right?
Right.
And that's why I used to do that because I was anxious. I was like, oh, I wonder what she thinks about this. I wonder what they think about this. And I want to know their take on this, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm anxious to sit with myself.
And so, like, just maybe some steps to get to that goal for the year is just learning yourself, learning maybe what attachment style you are, or maybe, trying to seek out life coaches or therapists that maybe deal with trauma like you do, or childhood trauma, just trauma in general to help you learn if you're not aware of the things that you do so that you can learn to sit with yourself and learn techniques like you taught me to sit with yourself a little bit longer.
Yeah, 1000%. And on this subject of like self-regulation, you also want to be careful, like not to run away from whatever it is, right? I'm saying to regulate, which means sit with the yuck, sit with the disgust, sit with the negativity, not become negative, sit with it, let it move through you so that you're overcoming the storm on your own. And sometimes people do the other thing, which is I'm not going to feel this. I don't have time to feel all that
Numb
shit.
out. Yeah.
I'm gonna numb, I'm gonna drink, I'm gonna, smoke, I'm gonna call up this friend. That's also not a good mechanism. So either ways, whichever side you're on, learn to sit with it, learn to regulate. And then once you've done it, once you feel a little bit better, or you've come to a little bit of a conclusion or, some clarity, reach out. I'm not saying don't reach out, but learn to do the work on your own.
Yeah.
It will really be of service to you.
Like maybe set small goals. Like maybe this next time I'm going to sit with myself for 5 minutes because I've never
Mhm.
done it before. And then next week, maybe I'm going to sit with myself for 10 minutes before I
Yeah.
reach out.
Yeah, 1000%. Actually, that's really good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Well, I
That's
mean,
that.
just like a small things, because like, again, it goes back to the, like when we were talking about weight loss or health or the gym or whatever, whenever we try to say, okay, I'm not going to call my friend, I'm not going to do this at all. It's almost like when you tell yourself you're not going to do something, you actually start thinking about it more. Have you
Yeah.
ever, like when you're on a diet, right? Like let's use diet as an example because I think that's something everyone can relate to. Whenever you're like, I'm not going to eat
Yep.
chocolate for
Exactly.
30 days. What do? You seriously sit there every day and going, man, I really want some chocolate.
Yeah, it's the same as I think we talked about it in coaching. It's the same as the pink elephant theory. Don't think about the pink elephant. You can't not pink elephant is all over your mind right now. You
Right. And like
can't.
I think you told me it's almost like in what another example you gave me was like you how did you word it? You said, how many red cars did you see today? And I was like, none. And you were like, okay, but the next time you go out, you'll probably see five. And the next time it'll probably be 10 because now you're looking for
Looking
it.
for it. Yes.
Right.
1000%.
Yeah.
1000%. So yes, all about self-regulation. Do your best with the tools that you have, no right or wrong way, but learn to sit with it, right? The third is reflective journaling to track wins and lessons. So this is slightly different from regular journaling. If you're a person that journals, which is dumping your thoughts, dumping your ideas, dumping how you're feeling and all those things, which I'm not saying it's not good. It's a very effective practice. But reflective journaling, I found to be extremely positive for me. So the way that I do it is after every month is over, during the last week of the month, I'll write my wins in January. Let's say January is the month. I'll be like, oh, these are the things that I tried, and these are the things that worked, and these are the things that I messed up, or these are the things. Those are my experiences. I don't really say losses. I call them experiences because they are experiences, And what this does for me is it gives me an observer standpoint rather than the victim standpoint. And it actually helps me grow continually because if I'm just journaling to dump my thoughts, sure, it's helping to some degree, but it's not creating those neural pathways for rapid growth.
Right. It's funny that you say that because I just listened to a podcast recently, the Skinny Confidentials podcast with Mel Robbins, which I know mixed reviews there, but it's funny because she said that she kind of does something similar, but I like that you said you do it monthly because she says she does a year-end audit where she kind of does the same thing where she writes down the wins, the things that didn't work for her so that she can take an audit and look back and say, okay, this is where I have room for growth or whatever. She also said when she talks to people and they say that nothing really good happened to them that year, she'll tell them, go back and look through your camera roll and
Mm,
look and see, like in January, I took 5 pictures or, February, I did this. Where was I the happiest at? What was I doing?
yeah.
And I was like, oh, I really do like that because how many of us can say, like, we get to December and we're like, man, this year sucked. But then when you go back through the roll, like in January of this year, even though it feels so long ago, I was in New York having the best time in Central Park with snow everywhere on the ground, which we don't get a lot of down here. So,
We
like,
really don't.
that was probably one of my, best memories of the year, but I had forgotten about it until I listened to this podcast and she was like,
Yeah.
just go through your camera roll each month. But I
Yeah.
like that you say do it monthly versus waiting till the end of the year because that's so much easier to remember than
It is.
waiting 12 months later.
It is. And also why wait, right? I mean,
Right.
why 12 months go for a reflection time when you can do it in 29 days? I
And
feel
you
like
can start changing earlier.
you start changing earlier and then you start correcting earlier, you start reprogramming earlier. Everything happens at a rapid. Instead of waiting for 1 year, you're making the change the next month on what you like to see. But I love the pictures thing. That
Yeah.
that's
That
just
was
so
pretty
great.
cool. I was just like, and that's something else, like just speaking of pictures, just side note, like, I used to be so good at taking pictures and like memories and stuff like that. And I don't know, maybe it was just premonition for this podcast, but like I was thinking earlier, like I don't really do that anymore. And then I
Mhm.
was trying to think back at my life just in general and like snapshots, because memories are just photo snapshots in your mind that you keep. And I was
Mhm.
just like, it's so crazy how many things we just forget happened or don't remember unless it's something huge and significant. And why? Why does it have to be that way?
Oh, I have an answer for that. So there was this experiment done when you take a white paper and you put a black dot, right? There's so much white around the black dot, but you're
Hmm.
going to focus on the black dot. Okay,
Yeah.
so that is our survival brain. So our survival brain is here for us to protect us, unfortunately, but it also kind of sabotages us because it's here to spot the errors. It is here to spot the flaws. That is our fundamental programming. That is the hunter-gatherer brain. It's like, I'm going to scan for survival, right? I'm going to
Yeah.
scan mistakes. So you see, it's easier for somebody to say, oh, I didn't see any wins this year. Like, I don't see anything positive that happened. I see all this negative that happened because, yeah, you're wired to kind of see that way. You're wired
Yeah.
to that way. And you can change that. It's easy. It's not that hard. It's a habit, sure. It's a mindset shift, but it's not that hard to like change it.
No, agreed. And like, I don't know if this is a similar topic, but just it just popped into my mind. Like this past year, I've really grown in my faith. And like, no matter what your religion is, obviously, if you're growing in your faith, like me and my friend are reading the Bible in a year, and I'll be, she's already done. I'll be done in January. But it's just like sitting with things and like knowing that there is a bigger purpose for your life, and you may not understand in the moment while something is happening, and it feels so awful to you in that moment. But then,
Yeah.
maybe 2 or 3 years down the road, you finally like, oh, that's why that happened, or that's why, if that would have worked out, this wouldn't have happened, or, whether that be jobs, money, relationships, your housing situation, anything you can apply to that. So I think trying to focus on a bigger picture now versus this just really, which is hard. Don't get me wrong. I still do it. I still very much am like, this sucks. But I think that I'm going to take on that challenge for next year of just journaling, reflective journaling each month to see how much I can hopefully grow in the new year.
I'm so excited. Maybe we should do it together.
Yeah, let's do it.
It would be
Maybe
really fun. Oh, maybe we should do it together and do a
that's what I was
podcast.
gonna say. I was gonna say maybe we could have to like be very vulnerable and tell
I
people
know.
our shit storms each
Why
month and be
not?
like, yeah, this is where I fucked up, and
Not? Why not? I mean, hey, why not? We're all gonna die. So why not?
right, 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 right. So I'm just saying, like
If people
maybe,
can learn, if people can grow with us and learn with us, I think it'll be fun.
yeah.
I am so down, my friend. Yes, let's actually do that. Let's actually do that. So the fourth point that I want to talk about is start taking messy action. We are always taught saying, take action. It has to look this way. It has to feel this way. It has to be a step-by-step process. Otherwise, it's not bad. And because of that, there's a lot of analysis paralysis. There's perfectionism. You go into a free state. You can't do anything. Because again, you're thinking about, if I'm not doing this the correct way, then I'm not going to do it. I have so many people, clients even, that wanted to start their own businesses, that wanted to start their Reiki practice or life coaching practice, whatever it is. They'll say, oh, I don't have a website. You don't need a website.
Right, right.
Do you have Venmo? Do you have a place where people can pay you? Do you have the skill? That's it.
Well, I mean, the
That's
same thing with my podcast. Like, I was so afraid to launch it because I didn't know anything about it, how to do it. I think I bought a $50 microphone off of Amazon and was just using GarageBand on my Mac before I bought
Mhm.
equipment and things like that. But like, I had very good advice from people who already had podcasts and say, you don't need all that. All you need is a microphone and GarageBand. You don't have to have an intro. You don't have to have all the stuff. Just do it. Just
Mhm.
sit down and do it. And I was
That's
like,
so,
okay.
that's so interesting you say that because I till now, and I have had my podcast for more than a year. I don't have podcast equipment. I mean, Johanna's looking at me right now. There's no mic. There's no microphone. There's nothing. I still don't have it because I used to have that problem.
Well, I mean,
When I started the podcast, I would be like, I don't have this, I don't have this, I can't do it, I can't do this, I can't do that. And I'm not a motivational speaker, so I didn't know how to speak for more than 15 minutes. I'm used to 1 minute reels and 2 minute reels on Instagram. Sure, you can ask me to do that, but I don't know how to talk for 20 minutes and 30 minutes. But now, again, messy action because I did it so many times. And now
right.
I'm able to do it, even though it's not perfect.
Same. And like, I used to be like, well, I have to have, what am I going to say? What am I going to do? How long is it going to be? It needs to be an hour. It needs to be this. It needs to be that. It's not perfect. And here I am coming up on 6 years of Babel's Nonsense
Oh,
podcast.
I love that for you. Let's fucking
So
go.
here
Let's
we are.
Here we are. That's incredible. That's incredible. And this advice goes for healthy eating. This advice goes for working out. This goes for everything. Are you not going to the gym because you think that going to the gym should happen at a certain hour and it should be for an hour exactly? Are you, not monitoring your food because you accidentally ate a piece of chocolate and now you want to eat the whole bar? Like, no, you don't need to do that. You don't need
Right.
to be in all or nothing, start taking messy action. The key word is messy.
And
I'm
I
telling you,
love that because I
yeah.
mean, that's so relatable. Like, I used to be that, I used to be so stringent in my diet and exercise that, like, but now, like, I think on Thanksgiving week, I only had the opportunity to go twice that week. And I could have easily been like, I'm not going at all this week because I can only go 2 times and I go 4 to 5 times a week. And I was just like, no, I'll go these 2 times and I'll just go my normal next week.
Yeah, that's actually really good. That's
Yeah. So,
actually
and so
really good.
I love that you say that because I think that we do have that mentality again, probably American driven,
Yeah.
probably, because I know we have a lot of listeners in other countries and things like that. But like, it is so hard, easy and hard at the same time. Like, it's such easy advice to listen to, but then such a hard thing because we're taught if it's
Yeah.
not perfect, don't even attempt it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, reminder for you guys, you don't have to wait for January 1st. Start taking really, really messy action tomorrow. Go for a walk for 5 minutes, meditate for 2 minutes. You don't have to do it for 20 minutes. Like, you see how easy it is when I say meditate for 2 minutes? There is no resistance.
It's so
But
funny that you say that because that is why I don't meditate because I'm like, I'm not a good meditator. I'm not a good, oh, calling me out.
there you go. You don't have an excuse for 2 minutes. You just don't.
Damn. Okay. Gotcha.
I literally had a client who said, I have ADHD. I can't meditate. You can't make me. I'm going to disappoint you. All those like crazy things. I said, okay, you want to meditate for 2 minutes right now? And then she did, and it was great. And then she extended it to five and then seven. Well, she doesn't do 20 minutes, but she does 10 minutes, and that works for her.
Yeah.
That's great. So, again, choose the rhythm that works for you. Don't shame yourself if it's not perfect. Take messy
My meditation will stay reality TV show.
action.
That's my meditation where my mind goes completely blank.
Hey, you do you. Who am I to say there is only one way to meditate, right?
All right. What you got next?
The next one is kind of an obvious one, but I feel like we all forget it all the time, which is say no more often to what drains you.
Yeah.
I mean, please say no. I
Yeah.
feel like 2025 was, for me, my year of no's, which I'm so happy about because I used to be such a yes girl. I used to say yes to a lot of things. And then I became bitter and resentful of other people when I didn't have better boundaries. So,
Well, it's funny that you say that because I actually had a year of yes instead of a year of no in
Mm.
2022 because I read Shonda Rhimes' book, Year of Yes. Actually recommend, very good book because she was a no girl to everything, which I know
Ah,
this is completely different. Like she was a no to like parties, speeches, all this stuff. So she finally started saying yes, and it opened her eyes
mm,
to a whole world of different things, new people, new events, things that she would have never done otherwise. So I
right.
actually did have a really good year in 2022 because I am a very huge no girl.
Mhm.
So maybe for this number five advice, if
That's
you're
what I was
already
reverse
such a, yeah, if
it.
you're already such a no person, like you tell, like if someone's like, do you want to go out tonight? And you're like, no. Do you want to
Yeah.
go to dinner tonight? No. Do you want to come to Nashville and hang out? No. If
Mhm.
you're already such a no person, maybe make this your year of yes. And if you say
Yeah.
yes to everybody,
Yeah.
maybe make it your year
Make
of
this your
no.
bid now. Yeah, I feel like for me, because I used to say yes too much. And this is the thing, guys. Saying yes out of alignment is different from saying yes out of people pleasing or
Right.
saying to fit in. And you'll feel the difference, right? And we're not telling you to say yes to like please society or your friends. We're saying say yes. If you're a no person and you want to say yes, we want you to say yes to things that actually feel in alignment to
Right.
you.
Like for example, if you let's say you worked all day, you went to the gym that morning, you worked all day, your boss asked you to do an extra assignment at night, and then your friends wanted you to go to dinner at 7. Saying no to that dinner at 7 with a friend is aligning with yourself because you're exhausted from everything else you had to do in the day. We're not saying say yes to that friend because you should go and be a good
Exactly.
friend.
Exactly.
But let's say it's the reverse of the situation. You always say no to every project your boss tries to give you. Maybe you just say, you know what? I'll take it on. I'll try it.
Yeah, exactly. And I like this reversal thing because I think we have so many people listening to this and different people, have different characteristics. Like I'm more naturally more introverted. So when I do too many extroverted things, I just get very drained. I get very drained. I get very tired. And then I'm always thinking, why on earth did I do that? You know?
Right, right.
I'm not that glad that I did it. And that is on me because I said yes when I was not of alignment. And I said yes because I wanted to make my friends happy or something. And this was again a year and a half ago. I'm not that person anymore. We change a lot. And so see how this aligns with you and choose a yes or no based on where you're at.
I want to do, was that your five that we had?
Those are the I feel like for me those five land for 2026. So I just wanted to really share that with my clients and audience.
Well, you know that I have to do a rapid fire. So let me gather some questions real quick because you know we have to have a little humor after a serious conversation.
Let's do it. I'm all for it.
But first, I want to know before we do the rapid fire, do you have who you are stepping into 2026 as, or what you want to step into 2026 as? Like just some buzzwords, whether that be like manifestation, growth,
I will say massive expansion.
massive expansion. Oh, hold on. My phone's trying to connect to my computer. Hopefully that does not do that. Mine is going to have to be, I want to have more clarity and I want to be a little bit more grounded.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, all right. Here is our rapid fire, and I'll answer them with you this time. Okay.
Ooh, fun. Okay.
All right. What's one thing you are leaving in 2025 like it never happened before?
Oh God.
Me, I'll go first. Begging and pleading. Done with it.
I think I am leaving the feeling and the need to belong.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
What habit did you swear you would quit but didn't?
Oh God, eating sugars.
Same.
I just
I have this little basket
me
of candy at
too.
work and I keep eating it. What's your most delusional goal for 2026?
Ooh, I can't say it.
Okay.
Say it. There is this, you can say it if you want. I'm not going to yuck on your yum, but there's data on that, right?
Well, no, I don't. So don't tell me. My goal is to survive 2026 because I'm going into 2026 with 4 jobs and a podcast.
Whoa, girl. I did not know that. That's Amazing. Well, that's
I mean,
not a
they're all clearly not 4 full-time jobs, but yeah,
that's
that's
incredible. I'm rooting for you.
that's why I'm delusional. We'll see how well it works.
Yeah. I mean, hey,
Something will end up falling, I'm
I mean,
sure.
hey, sometimes you got to be Delulu for your goals. You know what I mean?
What is something you overthought way too hard in 2025?
You know, I'm not an overthinker.
I'm trying to think, like when I'm thinking over the past, I'm trying to think.
What did I overthink in 2025?
Dating, probably for me.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm not an overthinker. I'm an overanalyzer. I'm not an overthinker.
Yeah, I do a little bit of both.
Mm.
I analyze my overthinking. What is one boundary you are finally enforcing without explaining?
Ooh, no more people pleasing.
Mine is going to be I'm not going to over explain to you or explain. I might give, I explain, I try to explain myself way too much sometimes. I'll explain once, maybe twice, but after that, we're all adults here. You should have gotten it.
Yeah, and then I feel like at that point, if they don't get it, it's a choice that they've made to
Exactly.
not understand you, to not see you.
Right.
Mhm.
What is your toxic trait that is honestly improving?
I will feed you if you come to my house. I will feed you.
Mine is probably, again, over texting, over explaining. I am getting better at that.
Mm.
What's something that you are no longer available for emotionally or physically or anything otherwise?
Oh my God, one-sided friendships.
Yes. Can we talk
Can't
about
do
that?
it. I can't do it. What a waste of time.
Right.
No.
Agreed.
Mhm.
What lesson did God keep repeating until you finally got it? Toxic men.
For me, it's your safety and security comes from you. That's
Yes.
always the bigger lesson. Anytime I lean on anything external, I get bit slapped. And God's like, I think you have to go inward and realize that it's all within you.
Agreed. What is one thing your future self would roast your now self about stressing about?
Other people.
I think mine would have to be worrying about work all the time
Hmm.
because clearly I'm stepping into 2026 with 4 jobs.
Yeah, I feel like I worry about people that are very close to me. I worry about my family a lot. I
Mm,
worry about my best friends a lot. And and it's not every day, but whenever I do worry, I worry a lot. I'm like, are you okay? Are you doing this? So I feel like my future self would be like, you know what? They can take care of themselves. So I need to stop. I need to stop. I need to stop.
what I'm going to tell you, because I know you do believe in God, what I'm going to tell you that I saw on TikTok since, it's funny because TikTok does your algorithm and I've had a lot more like Christian talk come through, which is great. I don't mind it. And there was this one person that said, you can't have worry and fear in the
Mhm.
same emotion because why are you worrying about something that you know God is in control of?
Exactly. Isn't it
Because,
amazing? It's like
right. And I was just like,
surrender.
oh, that hit.
It's deep surrender. We all know this, but we all forget it. It's
Because we're
so
human.
because we're human. Exactly.
Let's see. These are not funny. I asked for funny questions, chat.
I actually like it.
Okay.
I like
Um,
it. I feel like it's more relatable.
what is one thing you're going to do slower on purpose?
This is incredibly hard. I don't know if I want to do this, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to try to walk slower.
Oh, yeah, that's not happening for me. These are some ER legs and I'm a nurse. There's just no slowing it down. There's just no slowing it down. I'm not even going to try
I'm
that.
just fast walker. And anytime I get a phone call or I'm brainstorming with a client on the phone, I'm getting my steps in. I'm like 5,000 steps in, 7,000.
Yeah. Mine, I think, is going to be I'm trying to speak slower because I speak really fast when I'm passionate or excited. And a lot of that comes across sometimes as people think that I'm either being rude or I'm impatient when really I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so passionate about this.
Yeah.
We'll see how long that lasts.
Yes.
Let's see. What is something that you are proud of that no one has clapped for?
Ooh, this is a deep one.
Mine is going to be standing up for myself because I used to like I've always been able to stand up for myself, but then I go home and I like get very worried, like, oh my gosh, was I too harsh or was I this or was that? And now I've been able to stand up for myself in a more respectful way, I guess, so that I don't have to worry if I hurt someone's feelings. And I have to also be like, but my feelings matter too. So
Yeah.
that's something I'm really proud of myself for growing
Wait,
in.
say the question again.
What's something that you're proud of yourself that no one has clapped for?
Well, I don't want to toot my horn, but anytime I have had an instinct about anybody, it's always been right. So I've sometimes gaslit myself in the past. I've said, okay, let me wait for some logic and proof to see what happens. But my nervous system is so hypersensitive that it picks up on things before they even say anything.
What is your 2026 vibe in 3 words?
Exponential fucking growth. Yes. I didn't
Mine's
have,
going to go
I
back
didn't
to the
have the second word. So I said,
mine's going to be the clarity, grounded, and trying to be more mindful.
I love that. I feel like you're really mindful anyway.
Maybe for myself.
Mm.
All right, what's one situation you survived that deserves a medal?
Oof. Being abroad away from your family and navigating through a divorce, coming from a super traditional family and dealing with that stuff and not being able to go back home because you're in the middle of a pandemic for a year and a half
Mm-hmm.
and dealing with that all on your own with zero familial support in a country where you have zero family. Like that just I don't know, changes your brain chemistry when you go through stuff like that.
Yeah, I can relate. Like, obviously, my family is here, but when it comes to like just not, just basically doing everything on your own, I'm so used to doing everything on my own, which is something I do need to start working on in 2026 is just like allowing
Absolutely.
help. Yeah. And allowing people in, allowing people to help, being more in my feminine energy.
Yes, let's do that.
All right, let's see. Couple more. What is a red flag you now spot in under 5 minutes?
We talked about this briefly, I think, in another podcast. The red flag I spot in under 5 minutes is when I'm interacting with somebody, whether I'm meeting a friend in a coffee shop or, getting to know someone. If they don't ask any questions at all about me, I'm just like, why are you here? I thought this was like a mutual understanding that we're getting to know each other and we're trying to connect mutually. All you've done is talked about yourself. You've not asked me a single question about myself.
Yeah, same. And I dated a guy that did that. And like I tried to just like make excuses like maybe he's busy, maybe he doesn't like texting. And I should have just been like, you know what? No, I don't like the way you communicate. Like if I go, how's your day? And you go, good, and you don't say, how's yours too,
Oof.
that's rude.
Rude. Dang.
Oh, my phone just went off. A couple more, but let's end it a little softly. What does peace actually look like for you going into 2026?
I'm always going to say meditation because I love it. It's my place of zen. It's my place of calm.
Mine is going to be the reflective journaling that I'm going to try.
Oh, girl. Yes. Yeah, I'll hold you accountable.
What does alignment feel like in your body going into 2026?
I think alignment for me feels when my actions, my mindset, and my energy is all in balance.
I would agree with that because you just feel when it's not.
And it's not exactly. You're thinking about something, but if you're not taking action, you're not in alignment. You're feeling something, but you're not taking action, you're not in alignment. And sometimes you're taking action, but you're not feeling it, then you're still not in alignment because it's not the energy and the action part is not aligned.
And the last one, what kind of woman do you want to become in 2026?
I think I want to become more thick skinned.
And see, I want to become more soft because I think I'm too thick-skinned.
Hmm. Well, we should just swap.
Or hang out more. We could rub off on each other.
I feel like maybe the polarity will really help.
Because I think sometimes like I'm a little too thick-skinned and I'm just like, yeah. I mean, obviously things do hurt my feelings sometimes, but it's only like maybe a handful of people that can. Other people, I'm just like, whatever, dude. I know I'm a good
I feel
person.
like I'm too sensitive for the world, but people don't know that I'm too sensitive because I don't express that. I am extremely good at emotional regulation and navigating through feelings on my own. I do it so fast, so people don't realize if something's hurt me or upset me because I just move through it so fast and I come out the other side. But I actually want to be less sensitive. I want to not take things personally.
Okay, so now that you've explained it that way, I am a little overly sensitive, especially with like close people. Um, I get my feelings hurt by them and I pretend that it doesn't hurt my feelings. So maybe just being a little bit more honest and open and being like, hey, that really hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you know what's interesting is when you do say that and the way they respond actually speaks volumes about who they are.
Right. And so, yes, maybe I agree with that. Maybe I see me saying I was too thick skinned was me trying to be too thick skinned.
That's actually so
I
true.
mean, if we're trying to be insightful and be honest here, that is how it is, you know?
Total question right now. That's incredible.
Well, thank you for doing this. I think this will be great for everyone to listen to going into 2026
Yeah.
and for any year, really. If you're listening to this, let's say it's 2028 and you're listening to an old episode, this can apply at any point. This is not just a generic, oh, what are your 5 goals for next year?
Exactly. And you may listen to this in March, and I am not going to be unhappy about that because I don't believe in this January 1st thing. That's when everything needs to start. You
Consumerism.
I know you can start anytime and remember this one thing that I highlight again, and Jonna and I talk about this all the time. Messy action, messy action. It's not about perfect, messy. 5 minutes of exercise, 2 minutes of meditation. Start with, I don't know, 500 ml of water before you jump to 2 liters, right? It's just so much easier that way to build habits and it's so much sustainable. And again, coming back to building value-based goals over surface level. Like anytime you get distracted by surface level, I want you to snap out of it and ask yourself, is it aligned with who I want to become? Not
Will you
just,
will you run through the 5 real quick for everybody just so if like once they've got to the end since we've kind of been babbling?
Yes. So the first is setting value-based goals over surface level resolution. And we talked about what that feels like. The second is you self-regulate before you outsource every feeling, every decision. You navigate through your feelings before you call up a friend, right? Because that helps you build trust and confidence in yourself. The third is the power of reflective journaling to track your wins and lessons instead of just regular journaling. Reflection every month or the end of the month to see, your own blind spots, what you've learned, what you've not learned, how you can do better the next month. And then the fourth is take messy action, which is don't get stuck in perfectionism. Don't get stuck in the steps that it has to be a certain way or look a certain way. Just start, right? And then five is a very obvious one, which is saying no more to whatever drains you. And if you are a no person already, then lean into saying yes, so that you can, again, have an expansive year instead of shrinking yourself. But again, if you are saying too much yes and it's draining you, then lean into saying no more. So these are the 5 things I would really like to highlight.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening. I hope this helped going into your new year or any month that you are listening to this. And
Yes.
until next time,
Until
bye.
next time. Bye bye.